All right, Nick, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Big win, I would say, over divisional opponent Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tight game, 31-26. And I think there was a key decision made during this game that may set the course for the rest of the season for this Falcons team. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, there's a key moment in this game early on, so to speak, for this Falcons team going for it on fourth down to make a big time play, end up getting the score here. But I think this is a defining moment in this game that may, set the tone for the Falcons for the rest of the season. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, is from SI.com. Sometimes an early fourth down gamble comes and the announcers calling the game or the fans in the stands might jump all over the assumption that coaches are trying to make some sort of statement. And Sunday, Atlanta Falcons coach Raheem Morris was trying to do just that. It wasn't the cliched one most people would take from it. This wasn't some chest pounding, we're here message in a big NFC South road game being played in the place Morris himself cut his coaching teeth. Instead, it was a cold, coherent message of belief from Morris to all his guys. Atlanta faced the 3rd and 3 as the offense huddled. Pass game specialist Tim Burbinich, who helped lead the game management, had pushed Morris to play it as a 2-down situation. Morris then told coordinator Zach Robinson he had 2 plays to get 3 yards. Robinson, as a result, held back a staple concept to strike downfield, and on 3rd down ran a tunnel screen to Drake London, who dropped the ball. But the call got an aggressive Bucs team to play closer to the line of scrimmage on 4th down, allowing Kirk Cousins, who saw a defender's creep closer. Kyle Pitts got behind the defense on a corner out, and 36 yards later, the Falcons had a 7-0 lead on the road. Morris, talking about Robinson, said, "I know he's only been calling for a short amount of time, but he's going to be aggressive. He always wants to be aggressive, and I've got nothing but belief in our team and our guys." I think this is a big statement that Morris made, big statement to the team, Nick. I think is really great move, setting the tone for the season for them going forward. I'm curious what your thoughts on all of this are, but before we get to you, Nick, Falcons fans, in the comment section below, I think this is a huge win, huge divisional win. Probably sets you up potentially now to win the division. The Bucs on a little bit of a slide. Although, to this point, there's been a lot of great players. Let us know, though, who's your MVP of the season so far. I think there's some new faces doing a lot of great stuff. I think there's some older guys that really started to step up and show themselves as stars this season. Let us know, though, to this point, who is your MVP of the season in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about these decisions made by Raheem Morris?
I think this is just a great positive indicator for the future of the Atlanta Falcons. I think it's a great move by Raheem Morris. I talk about it a number of times. There are a bunch of different ways to be a successful coach in the National Football League, but you have to really pick one, and that has to be your mindset. For example, you can be like the rah-rah cheerleader or motivational leader kind of guy. That's like Dan Campbell with the Lions. You can be the cold-blooded, just calculator, just a football, just mind kind of guy. That's like Bill Belichick when he was with the New England Patriots. You can be the X's and O's tactician, right? You can be the guy drawing up creative plays and creative strategies, kind of changing the game on a chalkboard. That would be like Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers or Sean McVay with the Los Angeles Rams. Or there's the fourth way. You can be the CEO. You can be the executive. You can play the orchestra, so to speak. That's putting the pieces in front of you in positions to be successful, hiring good people, putting them in opportunities to do good things, and managing them and leading them forward and trusting them. And that's exactly what Raheem Morris has proved himself to be. He is the quintessential CEO as a head coach in the National Football League. And we've seen it with the Atlanta Falcons so far this season. He's trusting his game management specialist. He's using them throughout the game, not just in a token role, but seriously considering it. He understands Zach Robinson wants to be aggressive, and that's one of his best traits is aggressiveness. So he recognizes, okay, my offensive coordinator, young play caller, new play caller, let me put him in a position to be successful. Opportunity for him to be aggressive. Let me give him a 2-play heads up that we're going to go for on 4th down. That way he can set up his aggressive big play. Again, letting his guys work, putting him in positions to be successful. He's a defensive guy, Raheem Morris, right? Is he a guy that wants to go for it on 4th down? No, these defensive guys hate that. kick it, take the points, field position, right? That's how they're hardwired to play. Raheem Morris, though, understands that his role that he wants to be as the CEO, the chairman of the board of this Falcons football team in terms of what they're doing on the field, and he's doing a phenomenal job of it. And look, it's not that he couldn't be a great tactician. We know he was in the past as a defensive mind. But he recognizes, and this is where Arthur Smith failed miserably, that this Falcons team has all the talent they need. They are a talented bunch, certainly on offense and on defense too. They just needed a guy to put the pieces in positions to be successful. They needed a guy that was willing to humble himself personally and allow the staff to take advantage of this great talent. Arthur Smith didn't do that, folks. And I'm not hating on Arthur Smith too much. I think he's a phenomenal offensive mind in a lot of ways. He's just not the right head coach, certainly was not the right head coach for this Atlanta Falcons team. Raheem Morris is proving to be the right guy. He is the CEO. He is the president. He is what you need as a head coach for this Falcons team. And his latest move, maybe his best, I think is just an indicator of many great things to come here for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, and I love the point that you bring up about, instilling confidence in your guys, the CEO mentality of letting your people make the right decisions going forward. And that's hard to do sometimes, especially coming off a week 7 loss to the Seahawks, where the offense sputtered at times. They're only able to score 14 points in that game. Now we know this season, this offense has been pretty dang good for this Falcons team. They're ranked 3rd in the NFL per PFF. But when you come off a bad performance and so early in the game, you get to a 3rd down situation right after a big play made by the defense. Offense is set up. You said it here. A lot of these defensive guys, they like to go for points. But for him to make the decision off of a bad offense performance, and I will say it, getting to 3rd and 3 means the offense probably isn't clicking early on so well. Making that decision to say, hey, let's go ahead, go for it. Let's get the momentum going. We know we have the players on offense. Get this thing fired up. I think that was a genius move by head coach Raheem Morris, just to keep his mentality, keep this team going forward that, hey, we're going to let everybody do their job. Zach Robinson, he's going to be an aggressive play caller. Let's let him do it. And I'm going to show him early on in the game, hey, last week, let's blow it off. Keep moving into this game. I have full confidence in this team. You do you, and I have full faith and confidence in your abilities. He, fortunately for Raheem Morris, shows he is the competent play caller. He's able to call the perfect plays. Throwing the screen at the line of scrimmage to get guys to scoot up a little bit. I think that's a great play. I don't think he expected Drake London to drop it necessarily, but nonetheless, it worked out for them. So I think this is a really good overall move, like you said, from Raheem Morris. He himself didn't do anything, but that's the beauty of being the CEO. You let your guys make the decision. You put your people who are the right people in the places to make those choices and let them do what you hired them to do. Perfect example of Raheem Morris being that CEO and why it's going to be successful for the Falcons going down the stretch.
And one final point to end on all this conversation reminds me of the great quote from Leah Iacocca, who was a famous executive, led the Chrysler Rebound as one of the all-time great American business minds and business leaders. His famous saying was, I hire great people and I get out of the way, right? That's Lee Iacocca, one of the great minds in business history, understood that bringing great people on board and letting them do what they do best is a key to success. Raheem Morris is following that strategy. It should lead to more and more wins for the Atlanta Falcons going forward.